Hi there guys, okay, this is just a quick introduction to a project I started a while back because of a few customer requests about copy design functionality with Inventor or with Inventor files. Okay, so what I will do is run through an example and just chat about some of the features of Design Cloner and what makes it sort of special. Okay, so the interface is not 100% done yet and I feel it's quite rough around the edges. But please bear with me, it's a work in progress and I'm looking for feedback from you guys about this, but not only the user interface, the overall application as well. Okay, so I'm going to start by opening an Inventor model inside Design Cloner. Alright, so I'm going to open this grill assembly. Alright, so when this message pops up telling you that fast copy has been disabled, it's basically because while Design Cloner was loading the Inventor model into the tree, it picked up that one or more parts inside that assembly actually needs to be migrated still to the latest Inventor version. So basically what it's telling you here is that the fast copy has been disabled and you can now only use the alternative copy method. Your fast copy you'll see is over here and you'll see that the button has now been disabled and the alternative copy is the only option that you can use. The only difference between the two, they both do the same job. The alternative copy is just slower than obviously than the fast copy. Okay, so that's obviously an intentional part that I've inserted into this assembly to make sure that this option pops up. Alright, so the next thing that could pop up, I'll run through it now. Also, sorry, before I carry on, you'll see that the files that needs to be migrated will be highlighted in red. Alright, and you can quickly see that obviously pick up from this, you'll be able to pick up quickly that which parts needs to be opened maybe and saved just to migrate the file version to the latest Inventor version. Alright, so the next thing is, before I get to these options here, I'm going to just quickly check all nodes. In other words, what I'm saying is I want to check all these components in this assembly because I want to copy all of them. If I do that, this is another message that pops up. It says file name clash detected. Okay, so what that means is that this assembly here contains quite a lot of parts, but from various subfolders inside the project. Alright, so in this case now, if I just say okay here, in this case what's happened is I've got a part over here, it's highlighted in yellow, and I've got another one over here which they've got the same file name but they exist in two different subfolders in my main project location. Alright, so Design Copy will copy all these files into a flat folder structure now, so you can't have duplicate file names. So what you need to do is you need to correct this by either changing the file name of the file that's going to be copied or removing this one part from the files to be copied. Now obviously if you want to copy the whole design, the only option is now to actually rename one of these files. So that's easily done. I'm just going to add a prefix maybe or suffix to this one. So I'm going to say this is underscore 2 or B. Add the suffix in there. You'll notice that it's still yellow and this one is also still yellow, but what you need to do is just recheck file clashes. And there you go. You can see that that's been sorted out. Okay, so the next thing I want to run through is just some of the options. I'm still going to come back to some of these options. Alright, so under options you will see that you've got options like include derived part parents, include content center files, and include library parts. So depending on what or how you want to do your copy, let's say it's just a design copy for a new project that you're going to do inside your company. Obviously you don't want to include the content center files and the library files because they're situated in library locations, right? So you want to actually just keep them where they are and keep them linked to this new copy that you're going to, or clone that you're going to create of your design. To give you an idea of the derived parents, if I disable that, for instance, I can reload this. You'll see that tree now looks slightly different. Some of the derived parts that were linked to these parts have been removed. Okay, we go edit options again. Let's just include that. Reload, and there you can see again. Those are the derived parts. You can see it's an IPT linked to an IPT linked to an IPT into an IAM. Alright, so those obviously are derived files. It's actually a skeletal model, as you can see there. There's a sketch model that exists only of sketched geometry, and your individual parts have been created from there, and it was then inserted into an assembly to finalize the design. Alright, so let's look at using some of the model search options over here. Alright, so I've unchecked all the components, so nothing has been selected for cloning. So what I want to do now is I want to select parts made of a certain material. Alright, so let's go and select, for instance, steel. And I say, right, search, find components, and you can see there that's found some of the components, or all the components that's made of steel. Okay, over here, once again, it's obviously picked up those two components. So you've got the file name clash. You won't be able to use any of the copy options if there's a file name clash. So you have to fix that first before you can actually carry on. Right, let's add a suffix there first again. And there you can see you can actually now create the clone or the design copy. Alright, and so you can also search by property. Any property which is equal to or contains a certain value, it will pick it up and select the components for you and add them to the grid to be modified, properties or materials or whatever, further modification, and then to be copied into your clone or copy folder, output folder. Alright, so once that's done, the next step is now to look at manipulating the properties, materials and things like that of the parts that's going to be copied. Okay, so to manipulate some of my properties of the components I want to clone, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to maybe add some more components. I'm actually going to just add everything. So I'm going to say check all nodes. All the components are now copied into or added to the grid. And you can see it's obviously all the components over here. I'm also going to add the material column. I'm going to add maybe a revision number column. Alright, there we go. Let me just make this dialog box slightly bigger. Okay, there we go. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to maybe add a project number at the back of all my file names. Alright, and I'm going to do this with the prefix suffix tool over here. I'm going to say this project is the X1234 AB project. Okay, I'm going to say add the suffix, and you can see, right, there we go. What makes this nice as well is if you had a project number in there already, you could have said that maybe you just want to increment that project number by using the find and replace tool over here. So you could have said, alright, I'm looking for a string inside all of this. You need to select all the cells over here. I'm looking for this string, and I want to replace it with maybe the next increment, let's say 5, and you can use the find replace. Notice that all the text or all the file names will now obviously update with this string over here. There you can see. Alright, so it's very quick and easy to find and replace and make a design copy for the next project that you would like to create. Then part number, you can either choose to update the part number with the file name, or you can obviously separate or manipulate the part number separate independently of your file name. That option exists over here. So you'll see there's a copy option, there's an update part number property with file name. Okay, so that option is on, so I'm not going to actually bother changing anything in this column. Alright, so the next one I want to change is I want to change all the steel components maybe to a new material. So I'm going to say, right, I want to make all the steel parts here, I want to make them stainless steel. Alright, so let's go and change it to stainless steel and say new material. You'll notice that obviously the material will only be updated for IPTs. IAMs can't have a material, so it automatically won't select and update those cells. And so you can manipulate that. Same with revision number. I can say, right, all of this is going to be revision D. And there you can see it's updating all the revision numbers. Alright, so that's basically how you manipulate this table. You don't have to use these tools to edit text. You can also just double click and you can change over there, like same on part number. Part number is going to be equal to file name in this case, so you can't actually edit that. But file name, for instance, you can just double click and manipulate the file name manually as well. Alright, so you're not limited to only using these tools over here. Okay guys, so the next step would be to now decide, do you want to make this design copy or clone just of the components of the assembly, or do you actually want to include some of the other files as well, like your drawing files perhaps, or even OLE linked files like maybe Excel files or bitmaps or anything like that. Alright, so let's look at the drawing files first. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this search for related drawings tool over here. That will bring up a dialog box which will give you search tools to find all the related drawings pertaining to those components selected over here. Alright, the files have got to be selected into this grid. Otherwise, you're not going to find any drawings. So if the files are only listed in this tree, no drawings will be found. All right. So you got to actually add them to the grid, meaning that you're going to copy them or make a clone of these files, and then your drawings will be detected. All right. So this detection or this find tool will actually run through this grid and try and find any drawing that's linked to any of these models listed in this grid. Alright, so the first thing is you need to decide, are you going to be looking for IDW or DWG files? Alright, you should know the difference there. The search folder, the default will be your project root. So you can decide if you want to change that, or if you want to be a little bit more specific and maybe select a subfolder inside your project. Alright, then you can also select search inside subfolders. So if that's your project root and some of your drawings are all scattered around the project inside subfolders, etc., then I would obviously switch this option on. Alright, in my case I'm going to switch it on. I'm going to be looking for IDW files and I'm going to do a quick find. And there you can see, alright, great, we've got the drawings linked to my parts listed in this grid. You will also see then on the left or on the right hand side, each drawing will have the part references for that drawing listed in a list box over here. Now obviously there's got to be a minimum of one component, otherwise it would not have been listed over here, but some drawings might have more references. All these parts over here should exist inside this list at the back here, right? And that's basically how we do the match. We basically just scan the folder, check all the part references inside the drawings, and if it's in this list, it will be added to this grid over here. Alright, same procedure. You've got a prefix suffix tool over here, and you've got a find and replace and a clear table function over here. I'm going to just keep this simple. I'm going to say the new file name is going to have a suffix of underscore, let's say it's our project number, it's going to be X1234AB. Add the suffix, there we go, press OK, and my files are now selected. Alright, the last thing is, do we want to include any OLE linked files. Currently that's just an option under options, so it's a checkbox. We can say copy related OLE files into the clone folder as well, and obviously link it while it's, or when it's copied, it will also be linked and replaced into the components that's still referencing the previous or the old OLE files from the old folder. Alright, so that is already switched on. I'm going to leave that on. Alright, so now we're basically ready to do the design or the clone of this design. I see that this fast copy has been switched on again. I need to just look at that. It's not supposed to be on currently, so I'm not going to use that. It might cause throw an error because one of the files, as you can see, still needs migrating. Alright, so I'll use the slow copy. But before I do that, you can try that, but it should tell you that you haven't selected a clone folder yet. Alright, so we need to specify the folder that we want to clone our files to. Alright, so I'm going to just say, let's create a subfolder in there. I'm going to call it clone. There we go. So if I click that, you'll see a blank folder will open, which is now inside, which is pointing to the clone folder. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just create that clone while that folder is sitting there. Let's do that like that. And I'm going to now, I think we're ready. I'm going to start the clone operation. Alright, you can see some of the files are being copied there and they're being manipulated. Part numbers are being updated. Material is being updated. And all the file references are being replaced and manipulated. And yeah, depending on the size of your design, this could take, you know, a good couple of seconds or even minutes if you've got a couple of hundred parts that you're cloning to a new folder. So you've got to just be patient with this. You'll see that there's an indicator on your cursor telling you that the application is busy working. So yeah, just give it a couple of seconds or minutes depending on how many files you've got to complete. Alright, there we go. So we've got a file cloned successfully, a message box telling us that the clone operation has completed successfully. Okay guys, so that's sort of in a nutshell some of the features of Design Cloner. I hope you guys will give it a good test and give me some feedback of any issues you may find or any suggestions you may have. I'm looking at completing this the project within the next couple of weeks and just polish it off nicely and you know, get it into a sort of a final product. To give me feedback, you can just go to the help option over here. There's email support or feedback, or you can go to our website. There's an email link on the Tools for Inventor website as well. But yeah, so thanks for watching this video, and I hope you'll give me some feedback to improve the application overall. Thank you.